Parents, red flag. This is not so much on TikTok. This is on Facebook. More and more, since the advent of anon posting, and stick with me because I'm going to absolutely prove this to you today, because something's just happened to absolutely prove my feelings. Well, not my feelings, what I thought was happening and is happening. So it's not so much on TikTok, it's Facebook, and it's in Facebook groups. Since the advent of anon posting, there are more and more tutors. Now, I know some amazing tutors, but there are some very unscrupulous tutors out there that should not be tutoring. And they shouldn't be tutoring because they're not good enough to tutor your child. And I'm specifically talking about English and creative writing here, because I'm not a tutor, I'm a writer, but I do have a Facebook group that has over 10,000 parents in it and tutors, and I've read thousands and thousands of stories. Anyway, I've noticed more and more since the advent of anon posting, parents recommending tutors, but they're doing it anonymously. So 2 things. If you are currently having your child tutored for the 11 plus, which is a competition, and it's a really hard competition, you might not be inclined to share your amazing tutor all over Facebook. So that's the first red flag. The second thing is, why do it anonymously? If you have finished the 11 plus and you've got no more children in that race, because that's what it is, why would you feel the need to post anonymously about your amazing tutor? So that's the other thing. And then, you see, I curate my Facebook group really strictly because I check all the people that are trying to join. I ask them if they're tutors. If they're tutors, I make it known that if they're coming into my group, they have to help. And if they don't help, then I remove them. Stick with me. There's a reason I am getting I'm getting to a point. So, and I'm ranting a bit because I feel so strongly about this. So I noticed a creative writing teacher who's been around for a while being recommended everywhere in all these Facebook groups by a lot of anon parents, but a lot of them weren't anon. But I started to see a similarity between the names of the parents, and also this was happening in my group, and that's what flagged it to me. So I started to do a bit of searching, and also I've been doing this for over 10 years, so I recognize a parent avatar. So mostly parents coming to join the 11 plus that are looking for help on Facebook and tuition are similar. They're not all the same, and there are outliers, but they're similar, and I can recognize their pain points, recognize the way they write most of the time. So I noticed a particular creative writing tutor being recommended all over Facebook and in these groups by anon and by parents. But it wasn't an actual cut and paste message, but it was a recommendation that a parent would never, ever write. There was no heart and soul in it. It was more of an advert. And there was a mobile phone number and an email address and a website. Parents rarely put that level of detail in a recommendation. They might, and they'll recommend with more heart and more soul, and they certainly don't give phone numbers. Anyway, I saw this over and over, and I thought, Then it happened in my group, and I realised that the person posting in my group, even though they were posting anon, wasn't thinking that I can see their name because it's my group. So I did some searching around the internet and realised that this person was making up fake avatars and recommending themselves. Now that happens everywhere. There's another lady who I've known for years. She might be a great maths tutor. She might be great at non-verbal reasoning, but she should not be tutoring English. Her English is not good enough. And her Facebook posts used to be appalling. You know, anybody would realise that you shouldn't really be going there for English. She might have been great at maths. But since the advent of AI, Those emails are now okay. And to a non-discerning parent, you might not realise until you hire this person. Anyway, just to finish my story, this morning I had a lady who knows me from my Facebook group come to me on WhatsApp and say, "Hi Sheena, can you recommend a creative writing tutor? Because the one I've got is the one I'm unhappy with her. We're not seeing any progress, and she's expensive. She's £65 an hour." So I said, "Yep." I recommended someone from my group who I know and trust, and who he is great. And I said, "Look," I said, "just for my own edification, I'm concerned now. Is this a tutor in my group? Because if this is a tutor in my group, I'd like to know about it so that I can keep an eye, because I'm not going to recommend somebody who isn't good. And I never recommend anybody unless I know them. And don't forget, I'm not a tutor." So she came back to me and actually named the person. And it was this very person who I had booted out of my group because they had fake avatars and was recommending herself all over the internet. Beware, red flag. If you're seeing these strange recommendations or they're from anons, I'm not saying they're always bad, but my instincts were spot on. It was this exact woman who purports to being like a #1 tutor in London, and maybe she is capable, maybe she's great, but this lady said to me, 65 quid for a one-to-one lesson. She sets homework and spends the lesson marking homework, and she said she's not seen any improvement with her son, and she had to pay up front. So she's got this lady until the end of December.